Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tabor Talk. One of my evening editions. It's Tuesday evening, September 3rd, and it's 6:17 to be precise. So, I get a lot of email, text messages, stuff on social media, and I respond to some of the stuff, sometimes directly, or sometimes, like right now, I'll do a video recording about it if I think it's interesting, or I think if it warrants some sort of response. So everybody knows that I'm a huge Sam Harris fan. I mean, in fact, I'll say that he is one of my intellectual heroes, and in fact has had such an impact in my life. I don't think I'm overstating when I say that Sam Harris has changed my life, how I think, and it's one of my top 5 all-time favorite writers, thinkers, intellectuals. Sam Harris, right up there with Huston Smith, Robert Sapolsky. But anyway, let me get right to this. So a friend of mine texted this to me. This is from Current Affairs magazine. I hope there's no affiliation with that horrible Current Affairs show. Remember that horrible tabloid? Maybe not. It says Current Affairs, a magazine of politics and culture. And then it says, if you could see this, if there's no glare, there's my man, Sam. Being Mr. Reasonable for rationalist, Sam Harris is stunningly irrational. So I'm going to go through this. So right at the bat, I'm like, what? So it states that, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, doubt is the beginning of knowledge. People who are too arrogant often turn out to be not as smart. And there's a quote here by someone that says, I'm not arguing, I'm just explaining why I'm right. I don't believe Sam has ever said that. If he did, it's out of context. But anyway, it says, if you're excessively confident in yourself, you're not going to listen to other people, which means you're not going to learn very much. That is why Socrates is wiser than nearly everyone else he meets. Totally agree, 100%. So I'm reading on. I don't think, but I'm reading on. They're saying there's no way you're going to pin that on Sam Harris. Sam Harris is one of the most open-minded public intellectuals out there. Yes, he has strong opinions, but his whole thing starts with doubt and the scientific method. So right off the bat, I'm like, whoa, let me read this. What's going on here? There's something funny. There's an irritating thing that some men, let's be honest, this is nearly always men tend to do. And right, she goes down to mansplaining. We know what that is. Guys explaining in a very condescending way. They expound upon the importance of shedding ideological presuppositions and examining the world using cool reason. Yet they are so wrapped up in telling everybody else why they are wrong that they cannot actually hear what everybody else is arguing to begin with. That's not Sam Harris at all. He listens, okay? Listen, I've listened to every single one of Sam's podcasts, 160 since 2012. I've read all of his books, beginning with End of Faith. I'm sorry, I didn't read The Delusion of Free Will. Is that the name of the book? Whatever. But and there's another book on his psychology, The Moral Compass or something. I didn't read that, but everything else. All right, so I know Sam Harris. Okay, so let's see. They expound upon the importance of shedding ideological presuppositions and examining the world using cool reason. Yet they are so wrapped up in telling everybody else why they are wrong that they cannot actually hear what anybody else is even arguing to begin with. Totally not true with Sam. Sometimes this produces comical levels of obliviousness. My brain-dead slanderous opponents do nothing but resort to ad hominems, or my bestseller is about how liberals took away free speech. So, perhaps no popular intellectual has ever embodied this style than Sam Harris, the popular rationalist writer and Oh my God, has this person ever read Sam Harris? Has this person ever listened to his podcast? Now you're talking about a fucking hit piece and bullshit. All right, let me go on. Okay, goes on. Harris came to prominence in 2004 with this End of Faith. That's right. The New Atheists, and who brought a new stridency, some might say dickishness, to secular intellectualism. To the new atheist, religion was not just harmful, but poisoned everything, and the faithful were not just wrong, but delusional. Let me put this down for a second. Respond. So, if you've not read that book, my goodness, if you're secular or you're religious, probably the best book on one of the best books on religion is End of Faith. I know it's on the other side. I mean, my guy on religion is Huston Smith. Huston Smith is not an atheist, obviously. He's a theist, if you want to call it. I'm not really a theist, but this book and Sam Harris, although right, he does go after religion, but it's so well written, and he goes through the whole thing from the Old Testament, from Genesis to all the way to Revelation, and it's not out there like this article states. It's completely, well, let me just go on here. He does attack Islamophobia, on and on and on. I'm not going to read everything. I don't want to bore people here. But it says here, in Croft's words, Harris says things which, if approached with strict analytical rigor and the most generous of minds, can be given a shield of deniability against criticisms of Islamophobia, but rarely takes sufficient care to ensure that his arguments don't casually reinforce negative attitudes about Muslims. And he goes on and on and on. I don't know if that even makes sense. Okay, they're going through each one of his arguments, and everything about this has been misconstrued. Every single one on his take on Muslims and Islam, and it's just, this is an example of a shit piece, a person who knows nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing about Sam Harris. This is what I would call, it's like someone I don't really know. Like, oh, Sam Harris is a public intellectual and he knows a lot, and maybe I'm going to spend a week kind of, perusing his articles and his thing, and then like, okay, I know who this guy is. You see how awful that is? All right. I just had to respond to this because, Sam Harris is a big hero of mine. This is actually a very long article, and it's dog shit. All right. So I spent a lot of time reading this, but if you come across this, just skip over it. Okay. This is Tabor Talk, and let me fade out with some Michael Hedges. Good books, good friends, and a sleepy conscience here on Tabor Talk.